It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game on this Friday, a beautiful Friday in America's Music City. We're live in the Gulch at the pub. Come by and see us today. All of our shows will be here all day long. It's right at the corner of 11th and Pine. You can't miss it. They got St. Patty's Day stuff going on all weekend long, starting today, and obviously the SEC tournament in town, just up the road at Bridgestone Arena. What's up,
girls?
JoJo?
Oh, man, I'm telling you, yesterday was an amazing day of basketball at the arena. The late game last night, Kentucky winning on a buzzer beater, the double overtime game, Texas winning. It was a fun day of basketball in our city. And
Did you stay for both?
Yeah, I went to the Kentucky game last night. I had never seen Kentucky play on a neutral court. I've seen it play at Vandy and at Rupp. Yeah. And it was just – the oohs and ahs from Kentucky fans in Oklahoma would not just go away. It was amazing last night. So Kentucky wins at the buzzer. Great game. And now they move on. And now we got another great day of basketball today, brother.
The only dud yesterday, if you even want to call it that, sorry, Dr. Crane, was Missouri beating Mississippi State 85-73. But before that, Ole Miss and Arkansas was in a battle. Ole Miss sends John Calipari home early with Arkansas. They win 83-80. And then, as you mentioned, Texas A&M. Not only was it a fun double overtime game, but it was two historic rivals in Texas A&M that were playing. And it was funny. I was, after work, went into my favorite establishment, was with a buddy who's a huge Texas fan. And I don't think he realized they were playing. He knew they were supposed to play, but he didn't realize who they were playing.
Right.
And like that moment that he looked up and it was Texas A&M, it was like this whole different demeanor, you know? So it was pretty cool to watch that game. So Texas wins 94-89. And then, as you mentioned, Kentucky over Oklahoma last night, 85-84. So the Blue Mist remains one day, at least one more day.
Well, back to the Texas game. It's crazy. After they won, you go into the press room and press all anybody talked about, this was so hilarious. All anybody talked about was, do you think Matthew McConaughey is going to show up today or Friday? I mean, that was the all over. And people asked, I'm like, I don't, because I had the pass on. I'm like, I have no idea. Need to ask him. That's all they want to know. Will Matthew McConaughey
that's a great question.
show up today, because they've made it to the quarterfinals now, and I think that they're interesting to watch, man, because they're kind of fun in a way, because they know they're not expected to be in this position, and now they're rolling. And they took down Vandy, took down A&M, and now they'll take on the Tennessee Vols today.
The Vols finally play. So the Orange Army or Navy, Orange Navy, I guess is what they would refer to themselves, will be here. But I think it's been a fun tournament so far. Speaking of also fun wins in double overtime, the Blue Raiders, MTSU, getting the win over, what do you call them?
Louisiana Tech?
Yes. So last night, like, I was keeping up with it, and I'm getting in bed. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch the end of this game. And then I realized, like, oh, man, they're double OT. Like, I'm definitely going to watch the end of this game. So it was on ESPN Plus. I somehow synced up the video perfectly with Chip Walters on 93.3. So I listened to Chip.
Oh, cool!
While watching the game, which made it awesome. Chip's going to join us at 10:30. I'm usually not one of these people. The officiating was terrible. I mean, they made some calls. I'm going. There was one that block or charge. It was in my mind a charge, and they didn't call it that. They called it on middle,
right?
And it was just like, then they called a jump ball. That wasn't a jump ball at all. The other, middle clearly had possession, should have been a foul, and they called it a jump ball. Other dude for Louisiana Tech never even touched the damn ball.
Well,
and so it was just one of those, and I could hear Chip, tried to be professional as he usually is, and what are we calling here? But middle gets the win and moves on, stays alive in the Conference USA tournament. So that was big. We'll talk to Chip at 10:30.
Could you, and this is funny because this is my recent story I wrote for Main Street Media about being a referee. After sitting on press row and hearing the comments,
oh yeah,
I would last one possession.
Oh yeah, no.
I would be in the stands. It's the fan. I mean, the coach is going to berate you anyway. But some of these things they're yelling at the referees would make Red Fox blush. I mean, it was awful. Could you think you could do it? I mean, $2,500 a game, high school game, $2,500.
I mean, I could do it, but I'd tee somebody up.
You'd
Like
have to. I don't think we could.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing. When you're on the floor like that, you're watching the refs and how quick things happen. I'd go to the review every time.
Yeah.
And just because it's there and you could do that. But some of those calls yesterday were like, but it's been that way for a long time. It's like these guys are so big and so fast and so athletic where the refs really aren't. And you're trying to figure all that stuff out. I don't know, man, but it's frustrating to a certain extent. You talked about the middle game last night. There were some frustrating calls yesterday. Mississippi State got some bad calls yesterday too as well. And I'm thinking, man, what's the resolution here? You don't know. You just go out and play and
well, and the other thing too is you have to. I don't know this, but you have to assume that there's like the best refs are probably here in Nashville.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe guys with a little less experience or what have you are at the Conference USA tournament, and so you have to factor that in. And look, you got to get your experience somewhere. I mean, I'm not faulting them, but
right.
I mean, you would think that the Power Four conferences are figuring out how to get the better officials,
right,
and pull them from some of these, Group of Five.
So, if you were to do basketball, football, or baseball to be an official referee and umpire, which sport would you do?
It's a great question. Well, I'm fat and slow, so basketball's out.
All right.
too much running there. Football's out too, so probably. But I mean, it probably would be baseball.
Okay. Yeah, I'd go football because it's you don't really hear the fans as much, and you're designated in the area.
Yeah.
So baseball, no, because I can't. I don't like baseball anyway. But the fact that some punk yelling at me like that, I'd be you're out of the game. I would toss people out left.
But
and
see,
right.
and that art's gone. Like it used to be. Like I loved, Bobby Cox, Lou Piniella. Those were two of the best. Billy Martin, even before that. Go out there and just get it, like just hands on their hips, just giving it to the ump, and like the ump's sitting there and like he's mouthing back, and then finally you just see, and it's all an act. Like that ump just goes, "You're out of here," and then Bobby would take the hat, throw the hat down,
right.
Like to just keep going because it's just like, remember that commercial they did with it was Lou Piniella and I forget who it may have been Jim Joyce. It was one of the umps that you would know, and they're like screaming at each other, but they're saying like, "Hey, all right, I need to motivate my team, so I need you to throw me out. Cool. What are you doing for dinner later? All right, yeah, let's go do it."
I do remember that. Yeah, there was a Braves manager in the '80s named Chuck Tanner, who managed the Pirates to the World Series in '79. But he was like that. That when the Braves were playing terrible, and there's many nights they're playing terrible, he'd go out and just argue, and they toss him out, and the Braves get fired up and everything. But there was a respect, like Earl Weaver, Whitey Herzog, Billy Martin, these old referees and managers and umpires would get into it with each other, and it was fun, watch all that stuff now. But now it's gotten so personal that I was like, nah. The one thing I would not be in any sport, I would not be a back judge in the NFL. I'm not calling, because I wouldn't call pass interference.
Yeah, I know. You've kind of said that.
I'll let guys fight with each other and go for the ball on that. But anyway, watching the refs, God bless them, man, in the SC tournament, because up and down the court, and those guys are so big and get yelled at, and you're on the national stage. And I know it's been that way for a while, but yeah, that's don't ask me to do that.
So here's what we got today at the SEC tournament. Ole Miss will take on Auburn coming up at noon, and then at 2:30 today, UT versus UT, Tennessee and Texas.
You're gonna get Tex now, watch
probably.
Tennessee's the real UT.
I know.
Established
I know. I just like stirring the pot a little bit. So Tennessee will take on Texas at 2:30, and then the night session, Missouri and Florida, and then 8:30 the late game again, Kentucky and Alabama. You taught me that, so I had to do that. Tennessee is a 10.5-point favorite against Texas, by the way.
Texas
looks pretty good.
Don't bet on tournaments like this. Don't, because Texas is playing really well. and I don't want you losing your money.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
You're
Thank you for your
welcome, pal.
concern. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. We are live today from the pub in the Gulch, and excited to be here. St. Patrick's Day, of course, coming up on Monday. The pub, Nashville, is the place to be. Kick things off with a special St. Patrick's Day brunch at 9 o'clock, followed by live entertainment all day and the best Irish drinks and bites in town. Also, they have some Guinness specials today. Enjoy all the pub's awesome food, including Irish fare like corned beef and cabbage. That might be my lunch today. Drink specials include $7 Guinness, Harp, Magners, and Smithwick's drafts, and a lot more as well. So come by and see us. We're here again through our show. DVD will be here, and Stillman and Company as well. So come by and say hello. Coming up next, Titans made a signing yesterday that once again is starting to point me in a specific direction, and there's another national media member that's picking up on that as well. We'll discuss that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, live today from the pub in the Gulch, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Tennessee went out and handed a big contract to Dan Moore. They also gave a 1-year, $9 million deal to Kevin Zeitler. So to grab 2 offensive linemen like that is curious. Yeah, you could use some help there. And yeah, it might be to protect Will Levis. I just don't think that's the direction they're going. From what I understand, I think Cam Ward impressed him in Indianapolis at the Combine. I've heard that they've had conversations since. I think the team is smitten with Cam Ward. I think they want to get their quarterback in. They've got the number 1 overall pick. Levis was there last year, and I know there's a lot of discussion about the idea of giving Levis another chance. And, the team wasn't really set up all that well for him. He was terrible. Young head coach entering year 2. I think the move is Ward, planting the flag. Tennessee stays at number 1. It's not Abdul Carter. It's Cam Ward, quarterback Miami.
That was Joe Fortenbaugh from ESPN yesterday talking about the Titans and the number 1 overall pick. He is planting the flag, as he said. Cam Ward, number 1 overall to the Titans. Chasing Big Joe live today at the pub in the Gulch. We're here all day long for St. Patrick's Day and the SEC tournament, of course, being in town. And all of our SEC basketball coverage is presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle and ATV. So Charles Robinson was on yesterday with Robbie and Rexroad. He's in the camp of Cam Ward, number 1 overall to the Titans. Now Joe Fortenbaugh is as well. The Titans also yesterday signed quarterback Brandon Allen to come in and be a backup. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean, what does that mean moving forward for Will Levis? But, I think bringing in a true actual backup, he's not coming in to compete for the starting job.
Right.
I mean, that either means they're going to run it back with Levis, which they'll get run out of town for, or Ward's coming here number 1 overall. You got a veteran and Allen that's in, and then kind of figure out where Levis fits in later.
All right, so let's go with Joe Rexroad, what he said this morning, which I think Joe made a great point about this, is that the fact that if you're going to get Cam Ward and you're going to start, and like Joe used the word partnership, you have to run this with Callahan for a while.
Yep, I agree with that.
You've got to run this. If you go 3-14, but you've got Cam Ward, so what do? You fire Callahan after this year, bring in a whole new team, whole new staff, and then go it. You have to keep Callahan. If not, they should have fired him in January, brought their own coach in. Then you're going to develop that way. Now Brinker and
Borgonzi.
You are stuck with Callahan now, because if you fire him this year, then bringing a whole new staff, you're resetting. You're back to square one. So I think your chips are on the table now, and go forward and do this. You should have let Callahan go in January and said, hey, thank you. It's been fine. We're going to go this way, because they've known Cam Ward for a while. And now they're stuck there. So when they go 3-14, which I think they will this year, because I think it's a terrible football team, don't fire him, because you'll start back again.
I'm hearing you. I agree with you on that. I mean, I think that if you're dead set on bringing in a young quarterback and you want to develop him, and look, I do think Brian Callahan can develop a young quarterback. Then you have to stick to your guns on that. You can't just bail out because you want to go get your guy. Now, I understand, that happened with Wisenhunt. Wisenhunt came in. He was 1 year with Locker, and then they draft Mariota, and he basically got half a season with him. But the difference there is they stuck with Malarkey, and a big reason why they stuck with Malarkey was how he worked with Mariota and the familiarity with Mariota there.
Yeah, so we had 3 years with that staff, 15, 16, and 17 with Malarkey, basically halfway through 15. So it was fine. And they got to a playoff. They won a playoff game. Marcus did show flashes of doing some good things. He was good in that Kansas City game. Anyway, that's a long time ago and you move on. But now you got, if Cam Ward's your guy and you're solidifying the offensive line, all for it. But I'm telling you, Cam Ward's starting game 1. Who's this guy they signed, Brandon Allen?
Yeah.
He's not your starting quarterback.
No, he's
Will
a backup.
Levis is not your starting quarterback. Cam Ward is your guy, and Brandon Allen needs to know that going in. It's like, all right, Cam's a guy. You'll be here. If something happens, you'll go in there. But I still think Callahan is way over his head. I think he's a terrible play caller. I don't think as a head coach and offensive coordinator, I think it's so much that you have to do that you're not ready for, and I don't think he was ready for that. And I don't know what the solution is. I know he's still going to call plays, but do you delegate more? I don't think he's the guy for the job. And he proved last year that I was correct on that. But now you're stuck with him. Now you're stuck with him, and you got to deal with it if they draft Cam Ward going forward.
I am interested just because of this show to see how this pans out, because I think I'm a little more pro Callahan. You're not.
Nope.
And I'm curious of who's going to be right in the long
Oh,
run.
I'm right. I know I'm right. I know he's not head coach material. I saw it last year, and I don't think you grow into that. I think you know immediately whether you are, whether you aren't. I don't think he's a guy. I think the not giving up the play calling duties is something to me. And he's like, oh, that's part of the game I like. Well, then go be offensive coordinator somewhere, because you never called plays until you became a head coach.
Sure.
Does that not blow your mind? He never called plays. He was a head coach.
It doesn't blow my mind, because that's kind of today's NFL. Like, there are other examples of that. You know, I mean, Sean McVay never called plays.
Sean McVay's a much better coach than Callahan.
100%. But I mean, to your point of he never called plays until he became head coach.
Okay.
I mean,
Some guys can do it. Some
Zach
guys can't.
Taylor never called plays until he became head coach.
Callahan can't do it. I'm just telling you. I don't think he's a guy that can do the head. I was proven last year. That proved correct last year. He can't manage the game, call plays, deal with what's going on, and do all that. You just can't do that.
Now, to your point, Matt LaFleur never called plays until he came here. He called plays for a year
Okay.
as the offensive coordinator here before he became the head coach of the Packers. And that year was probably a really good thing for him.
Who did he have at the Packers at quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers.
There we go. All right. Who does Callahan have when he came here?
Will Levis.
All right. I mean,
But
that's
I think
just plain and simple.
I think
Oh, we got a Lions fan. I like that sweatshirt,
two of
buddy.
them. Yeah, that is a nice one.
Yeah, right.
Very good. I think we have seen, though, like with LaFleur, that maybe he's a little bit better of a head coach than we thought because of what he's done with Jordan Love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think he deserves his credit.
I agree. I told, and look, the year calling plays, he has a year under his belt calling plays in 16 games. Callahan never had that. You know, we had Nick Holes on, right?
Yeah.
Is it Holes or Holtz?
Holtz.
Holtz. Okay. And then we asked him and said, what's your job?
Yeah.
I give suggestions. All right. Chase, I give you suggestions all the time.
Sure.
You use maybe 0.0001% of those, right? Give suggestions. So you're not what you are as a offensive coordinator. So I don't know. Did he do that in Cincinnati? Did he do that in Vegas? Did he do that in Detroit? Did he do that in Denver? I don't know, but I don't know. All those, you got Cam Ward going forward, and that's your guy, and that's what you got to deal with. That's a lot of wood right there.
Yes, it is.
I'm ADHD.
Yeah, you are. It's okay.
Yeah.
Again, we're live at the pub in the Gulch today. Let's go to the phones. Driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, 615-737-1025. Trey wants to weigh in. Trey, what's up?
Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Oh, we're good.
Hey, my friend just posted on Facebook that he's going to Indianapolis, Tavarius Ward, and I wonder why the Titans won't pick up players that have Super Bowl experience or playoff experience, and why are they getting these players that's not as good as those other type of players with experience? And what y'all think about that, guys? I'm kind of going crazy over here with this. Thank y'all. Have a good day.
Sure. You too, Trey. Thank you.
Did you see what he signed for in Indianapolis? He got a pretty good deal up there. Titans already committed to 2 cornerbacks here
Yeah.
in Snead and Cheeto. And so there's a lot of money.
Both of them had played in Super Bowls. Snead's won one.
Yeah. But there's a lot of money. So yeah, Ward's a great player and he's an MTSU guy. I get that. But they've already spent all that money. They're not going to spend all that more money on a guy that will come in when they've got 2 guys, hopefully, that see the field this year, can do well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and look, I've said this, if those corners play, McCreary kind of continues his development, and I'm worried about the middle because they've signed Barden, but they traded Kenneth Murray, who's the green dot. They got to shore up the middle there.
Who's the guy from Carolina they drafted? Eric Gray, was that his name?
Gray, yeah. So we'll see what he's got. And then get a pass rush. Then, all of a sudden you're feeling better about the defense.
Well, they got
but there's a lot of what ifs there.
What's the guy from the Broncos or the Niners, the guy they signed for 1 year, $10 million deal, the pass rusher?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Crane?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
I know who you're talking about.
So there's some foundational pieces that are there that could go forward. And
Is it
Draymond
Jones?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And so
Seahawks.
and you got the safety that they signed from Carolina, and you got Hooker, and you got if Snead and Cheeto could come back and play. I mean, you've got some good pieces that are there. Again, and I know you're going to roll your eyes, people, but all you got to do is be better than 3 other teams. That's it. That's all you got to do is be better than those 3 other teams. You get to the playoffs.
Let's get one more call before we get to Sean Henry. Darren has changed his mind on the Titans' #1 pick. Welcome in, Darren.
Hey, guys. Good morning. When we got the first overall pick and I was looking at the prospects, I was pretty sold on Abdul Carter because he seemed like the more surefire impact immediately. But then I was thinking, I looked at the Browns, and the Browns of Myles Garrett's probably the best pass rusher of my generation. And what did that really do for the Browns? I mean, it was awesome to watch, but it didn't really translate to the franchise being really any better with or without him. So I think the right call, considering what we've done with the O-line in the last 5 days, I think their hand's been tipped, and I'm all on board with Cam. So I appreciate you guys taking my call, and I'll listen up, man. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Darren.
buddy.
Appreciate it.
Darren, appreciate you, man.
I think you're kind of it. Everybody's kind of starting to talk themselves into it.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
hey, what's happening, y'all?
like,
All right now.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, wow.
I think that people are starting to talk themselves into it. That
Are you?
Cam Ward's? Yeah, I'm starting to.
Well, I think John McClain had a good point the other day, and we talked about how Cam went from Incarnate Word to Washington State. Is that where he went?
Yeah, Wazoo and then Miami.
And said the exposure he got from being from those 3 places and going into new places and having to deal with new teammates, new coaches is really good for a guy. Then he went to Miami and played his butt off. And yeah, I mean, if they're sold on him, and obviously they are, I mean, that's the way to go. Now, what happens if they sign Aaron Rodgers today?
Which they're not going to do, but then
I
the
hate when you're negative.
the
like
whole
this.
plan. Well, I'm just being look.
I hate when
You do this with me. I just think that then they would probably take Carter.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, they're not. I know they're not going to sign Rodgers, but Cam's got to be your guy, and you got to be committed, and then you build around him.
You got to be absolutely sure.
God, there's so much pressure on that #1 pick. I don't know if I'd ever want that #1 pick.
There's pressure on us because the CEO is coming up next.
Yeah,
Our buddy Sean
he looked
Henry
handsome yesterday
from the Nashville Predators, who has had some fun at the SEC tournament this week. He will join us coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game live from the pub in the Gulch today. This is our home today and with all of our shows. SEC tournament just up the road at Bridgestone Arena. Also St. Patrick's Day weekend. They got a lot going on here, but we say hello now to the CEO of the Nashville Predators, Sean Henry, who's on the line with us, who has had a blast this week with the SEC men's basketball tournament at Bridgestone Arena. Sean, what's up?
Hey, Bruce, Coach Burrow, I'll be right there. Yeah, Jack Legs kept me waiting all morning. Yeah, I'm coming. Tell Commissioner Sankey it's 10 feet for the hoop. Yep, I'm coming. Hey, I'm sorry, Chase, you there?
Yeah, we're here. Is your back hurt from all those names you're dropping, or how you feeling?
Dude, man, 9:30, fellas. I don't have time to be waiting around for you guys. I mean, Joe and I were there till 11:30 last night, man.
We were.
What the heck?
You saw some good games last night.
Dude, the basketball has been amazing. And really, with the exception of the LSU game, every game has been down to the last minute. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? You know how this is with sports, where there was so much hype with this tournament, probably more so in some ways than the NCAA tournament because the SEC is so good that you always go into these situations hoping that it lives up to it. It has more than lived up to it to this point. It's only going to get better now that you have teams like Tennessee and Auburn and Alabama. They're all going to be playing. And actually have the top teams that'll get into the mix now. I think it's been great so far.
It really has been. And, you look at the selection show will be Sunday from our plaza, and you're going to hear, gosh, what do you think, 13 teams from the SEC named? It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I did want to touch on that. How cool is that? ESPN's bringing the selection show to the plaza at Bridgestone Arena. Obviously, a lot of eyes on the SEC. I think it makes sense. Plus, it's just another way for Nashville to let the rest of the world know, hey, we're here.
Yeah, it's always good when we get put a little spotlight on Nashville and let the rest of the world just to see how cool things are. And it's so much fun. The collaboration to take on an event like this between the city and the state and the CBC and the Sports Council, obviously ourselves, it's just so much fun. I mean, the downtown partnership is out every morning at 5 a.m. cleaning up the streets. And it's fun to see the city just come together to put on great events.
Talking to Sean Henry this morning, personal assistant to Greg Sankey, joining us on the Chasing Big Joe show. It's funny, Sean, we are privy, to backstage and things that go on and all the chaos back there, and you never take it for granted. But to watch everybody, for more or less do their job to make this tournament go off and be perfect I find it fascinating to watch. You're in the middle of all that. There are so many moving pieces. You got to be proud of your staff.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's always a little bit humbling when you see it come together because it's a building transformation. And then you're literally open for, 14 hours a day. And it's like, literally thousands of people doing their job, but doing it better than anyone else in the country. And I could say that, I've hosted the SEC tournament, ACC tournament in other buildings, other cities, and it's always great. But here it's just a little bit more special, and it is because of the people, without a doubt.
It's funny. I was talking to a guy last night in press row about hosting a first-round tournament or the SEC tournament. And I was like, give me this tournament every year, all year, because you now with the games on Wednesday and full slate Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I mean, Sean, this is an amazing tournament, an amazing time for this city.
Well, if you see Greg Sankey, you should thank him. Because when we first did the deal where we did 12 straight SECs, it was unprecedented. Like, that never happened. And then when he extended that through 2035, it's just amazing. And the funny thing is, I love John Glennon, and so I'm going to call him out. When we announced the 2035 run for SEC, his article said, Nashville Predators will not host the NCAA first and second round ever again. I'm like, good. Like, we're hosting something so much better. Instead of 2 days of basketball, you have 5 days of basketball. You have 3 days of double sessions. I mean, the SEC tournament is so much better than hosting the first and second round. In reality, it's better than the Final Four, because that's, again, only 2 days of basketball. Now, I can't wait to host both in the same year when the new stadium's open. But, we're fortunate that Greg saw the vision of what we could do together if he gave it a permanent home. And we're just grateful for it.
Yeah, I tried to talk to him about that. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm in the bathroom," and so I had to leave. So I'll catch him later.
Well, we had security go in the restroom after you, but you were pretty slippery and got away. So please don't do that again today.
Wow, when security it goes by the name of Bill Wickett, I know I'm pretty safe.
Well, he had his man George Plaster helping him yesterday. So
He did, right?
Hold on a second. Sean Henry is with us, CEO of the Nashville Predators. So speaking of the Predators back in action tonight as they continue the West Coast swing and on a little bit of a win streak, 4 in a row so far, going back to the homestand and now to start the road streak there. But you got to feel pretty good about that off the trade deadline of watching these guys play. And it seems like they've all said it. They're having fun too. That's really cool to see.
yeah, it really is. It's always good to win. And, a few people will say, well, I bet you wish you were losing to move up in the lottery. And say, no, you never want to lose. Not at the same time, if you end up losing a few games and you do move up a little bit, that's great. But you always want to be planting that flag around a winning culture. So whenever you put together back-to-back wins, in the 4-game streak, it's just good for all the young guys to see the veterans on what they're doing that night, the off day, to get ready for the next one, to try to get this thing to 5 games and then 6 games. And it is fun. It's been a lot of fun hockey this year. A little disappointing, of course, with the wins and losses, but you come to our building and you still have a good time. And, with Stamkos had 2 hat tricks the other night, right? Had one, they called it back, and he had to go out and get another one. If you weren't leaving the building that night laughing and smiling and high-fiving people, you're living wrong.
I agree. And I heard, Barry Trotz was on with Jared on Tuesday for his normal hit, and they talked about that. And he said, look, I get it. I get the position we're in. Obviously you're looking at the draft pick, but at the end of the day, I want guys on this team that love to win and hate to lose. And if they're guys that don't hate to lose and don't have a problem with that, then they're not going to be on this team. And I thought that was, the perfect thing to say. It's the feeling that needs to be there. And so, you need to go out and enjoy this, and you never know what might happen in the long run. But I thought that message from Trotzy was the perfect one.
And it's spot on. And that runs right through our locker room and through the whole organization. But look at the name drop. You're dropping Trotz and Mr. Stillman. That's something, man. I thought I was good.
Big time on all that. Sean, I know that there's a fun week coming up that you guys don't take for granted. It's Military Week for March 17 to 23rd. And you talked about your partnership with Fort Campbell and veterans in the military. You're a friend of ours. I know that, but you guys go above and beyond for the military. And this is going to be a fun week for everyone.
Yeah, it's always one of those things where, and even right now, I'm hard to find my words because I never know how to thank them properly, and I don't think we ever can, obviously. Yeah. But when we get a chance to bring them out to some games and literally say thank you and give them a chance to have some fun, it's important. But last week we hosted a group of women that lost their husbands under the Gary Sinise Foundation. I think we had 40 ladies out, and I went and spoke to them, so did Barry, to thank them. And you sit there and stare at them and you realize there is nothing I can say to properly thank these people for what they sacrificed. And, and it's a family sacrifice. And unfortunately, so many, pay the ultimate price. So for us, it's just nice to be able to say thank you. And you look at all the great organizations we work with, from Wounded Warrior, to the New Wings Museum up in Clarksville, to the Charlie Daniels and Hazel Daniels Foundation we do with MTSU. There are just so many people trying to do more to say thank you. And we'll always fall short, but let's never stop saying thanks.
Yeah, amen. The game, 3 military appreciation games, March 18th, 20th, 22nd. And this is cool. I'm just going to read this, what I've got here. Additionally, the Predators offer a variety of year-round military support programs, including the Hometown Heroes discount presented by Fox 17, which provides a 25% discount off box office prices for single-game tickets for active and retired military members and first responders. That, my friend, is outstanding.
You know what? There are so many good things that are done, though. I mean, look at Jack Daniels, what we do with the barrel tree at Christmas. We auction those off. And with the proceeds, pays for servicemen and women to travel home for the holidays. I mean, it's almost every day we have an opportunity to work with an organization that tries to say thank you and reward them a little bit. So it's so many wonderful organizations in our city. We're lucky, all of us.
Amen.
Sean, you guys have always, if we just said, had a great relationship with the military and with Fort Campbell specifically, but how much has your work in Clarksville with F&M Bank Arena kind of enhanced that over the last few years?
Yeah, it's made it easier because from a geographical standpoint, we're closer, to so many that are currently serving, and the families. And it gives us an opportunity to use every one of our Austin P games, obviously our blue and gold games, the Spartans play up there as well. And it's just tremendous. I'm very fortunate to be on the Wings of Liberty Museum board that we're, building right now. We have it fully funded, but there are so many opportunities the closer you are to something to get a little bit more involved. And it is absolutely amazing what happens on that base. I mean, it is a large city where they're literally defending the world. And again, what they sacrifice each and every day, the moment they take that pledge, it's incredible. Again, you guys know the three of us never lost words. Whenever I start talking about the military or veterans, it's hard to properly express what we can all do a little bit more of.
Amen to that. And in one of my favorite parts of a Predators game is around the end of the second period when you guys honor somebody, in the military. And there was even one where it wasn't even a specific person. It was having everybody stand. And I thought that was really, really cool. So well done on that.
Sean, can I come by later on and have an orange crush with you?
Dude, I'm a little embarrassed. I haven't had one yet. Normally by Friday I have a stomach ache because I'm drinking like 27 gallons.
Right.
So I'm kind of resisting the urge, and I'm going to reward myself on Sunday. I'm going to get a scoop of vanilla ice cream and an orange crush float, and then I'm just going to drown. I'm going to guzzle it up, an orange mustache, going into St. Patty's Day.
Well, I told you last night, I haven't had thought about Orange Crush in decades, and the banner is so beautiful at Bridgestone Arena for Orange Crush because it's sponsoring the tournament that I actually went out and bought a 12-pack of Orange Crush on Wednesday because I was like, I got to have one now. So whoever's doing that, you got me. You won. I give you your props. You won.
It is so funny. Like when I ran into you last night in the media area, literally like there were 5 grown men in their 50s or whatever George is in the 70s, all with an orange soda in their hand, right? Like it's just, I knew what we started talking about the Denver Broncos from the 70s. Like it really is. It's one of those fun elements. So that's great.
Yeah, Sean, I got to tell you, as a New Yorker, the fact that you're embracing Orange Crush, your Southern points have definitely gone up. So welcome to the South, even though you've been here for like 15 years.
I'm a mellow yellow guy, man. I was born a Southerner. It just took me a bit to get here. I grew up in the South Shore of Long Island. That's how Southern I am.
Love it. Sean, thanks as always. Let's continue a fun SEC tournament, and we will see you down there.
Yeah, hopefully I see you guys later today when you get out of the bougie 12 South, wherever you guys are.
You will. Don't worry. Thank you, Sean.
See you guys. See you in the bowels of the building. Bye.
Sean Henry, the CEO of the Nashville Predators. We're in the Gulch. Right. It's a little bougie over here, but it's not bad.
I mean, this is really
your Corvette's
nice.
Parked out front.
Right, it's a 2023 Corvette. Yeah, so it's right out front there. And so this is kind of like, I just texted a friend. It's kind of like, it's what Rodeo Drive would be in California.
Yeah.
Fancy, I don't belong here. Secondly, fancy stores, beautiful people walking by, and we're at the pub in the Gulch where we are tipping off their St. Patty's Day weekend.
We sure are. Why wait for St. Patrick's Day? The party starts early right here at the pub, Nashville. You can enjoy proper shenanigans. We do that all the time. All weekend long with Irish fare, drink specials, and live entertainment, including Irish step dancers, bagpipes, and more. Don't miss the fun. Joe's going to play the bagpipe later, so we look forward to that.
I am. Can somebody on the text line do me a favor? And I like the interaction. The Irish step dancers don't move their arms. And I've heard 4 or 5 different reasons why they don't move their arms. But can somebody text in and tell me why Irish step dancers don't move their arms?
We'll see if we can get that answer next as we wrap up hour number 1, Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Tune in tonight. 94.9 The Fan. Vandy Baseball. The SEC play opening up as they take on Auburn. Pregame at 5:45, first pitch at 6 o'clock. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and the GameNashville.com. Chasing Big Joe live at the pub in the Gulch today. Come by and say hello. DVD will be here. Stillman and Company will be here as well. So you can come say hi before, the storms come through. Sean Marks on the side of the road waving at everybody. So that's we appreciate that. Smiling.
He is. All right. So Irish dancers traditionally keep their arms stiff by their sides to emphasize the intricate footwork and maintain a dignified, upright posture. Now, somebody said they do this because dancing was banned, and when soldiers would walk by their windows, they'd be dancing, but their arms wouldn't be moving. That's just weird.
Yeah.
But that's not incorrect. That's not correct.
Okay.
So there we go then.
All right.
You ever type in Google so I typed in why don't Irish and I get it'll do it for you. And it came out, I was going to type in why don't Irish dancers move their arms, and it came out when I typed in why don't Irish, and it says why don't Irish people tan? I guess people are Googling that all the time.
The Titans have made a few more signings official, including Draymond Jones, Brandon Allen. They have just announced those and made those two signings official. So they continue in free agency. The Brandon Allen one, look, he's a backup. That's it. He's going to compete with Will Levis to be the backup.
1 year deal?
1 year deal.
Say how much?
That's somewhere. Let's see if Jimmy has it. I don't know. I'd have to look.
What's funny is when Shaq left after LSU his junior year, and they said, "Why are you going to go to the pros? Stay another year at LSU." Shaq had the famous line, "Well, when IBM offers me a 5-year, $50 million contract after I graduate, I'll stay." It always made me laugh. So I'm asking because what's this guy making? $5 million as a backup? I mean, it's just good for them. Good for them to do that.
I like if I had the ability, I would have been fine being, a backup quarterback.
Right. You're handsome though.
Thank you. We'll see if I can find that. How much money it is.
It's all good, man.
Coming up next, we'll talk to Chris Sanders, forever Titans wide receiver. Get his thoughts on free agency and everything that the Titans have done this week. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Friday. We are live at the pub in the Gulch as we are here all day long. SEC tournament going on just up the road at Bridgestone Arena. Also St. Patrick's Day. We're outside. It's nice. A little windy. Obviously, we got some weather that could be rolling in tonight and tomorrow, so be weather aware. Stay safe. We obviously, can't control that, but want to be sure that you're all aware of it. But right now, let's say hello to Forever Titans wide receiver Christopher Dwayne Sanders, who joins us now here on the program. Chris, what's going on?
Man, what is going on, man? I'm on my spring break. I'm lifting weights, trying to get swole like you and Joe Dubin. Let's go, baby.
I love it. The Titans have been very busy
Sure.
in free agency. Now, they're not signing these huge names that everybody knows, but I think what they've done is they've filled some holes that they needed to fill. But I want to start with the offensive line. When you watch the move to sign a veteran left tackle, move JC to right, sign a veteran right guard to go with what you already have, you have made that line older. You have gotten more experience on that line. Does that point you in the direction of a rookie quarterback?
1,000%. And the reason why you want to do that, because you got a rookie guy, and I'm not saying they're going to draft it. I don't know if it's going to be Cam Ward or Sanders, but at the end of the day, you can have a great athlete, you can have a great quarterback, you can have all the skill set in the world. But if you don't have a dominant offensive line, it's not going to work. So the thing about it is the guys they went out and got, it might not be the sexy pick, and everybody's like, oh, he's great. But you need a solid offensive line. And we kind of saw that this year when the Tennessee Titans didn't have a solid offensive line. The quarterback play struggled, the situation to where they were ended up in 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16. Why? Because the pass pros was so bad. So even though it's not these guys that they got in free agent-wise, it may not be the sexy pick, but it's the right pick because you have to build up your offensive line.
Yeah, you 100% have to. What do you think of Van Jefferson? He's kind of been a journeyman in the NFL, obviously played at Ravenwood, local connections here. Yeah. His father, Sean Jefferson, a longtime wide receivers coach in the National Football League. I like the signing for depth.
Me too. I mean, not even just depth, but I think he's going to come here and play. And I'm going to tell you why, because when he was at Ravenwood, I went against him on 7-on-7. And when I first watched this guy run routes and do the things that he does, he's a polished receiver. I know he had injuries. I know he went to teams that he wasn't successful. But don't be surprised if Van Jefferson is in, the starting rotation because of the things that he does. He's a big kid. He's about 6'2", 6'3", about 215. But here's what he brings to this Tennessee Titans offense. He's a polished receiver. He can run the routes. He can catch the ball, and he's going to be another, receiver to whatever quarterback we have. And so I know everybody's like, well, why did we sign him? He's been a journeyman. But at the end of the day, you're getting a polished receiver that can help maybe Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. So I think it's a great, great pickup for the Tennessee Titans.
All right, Chris Sanders is with us. Chris, you ready?
Well, I'm ready for my theme song, baby.
You got to hit it, Dr. Crane.
Sunshine and rain, give me some overdoses, say sun. And pain.
Yeah, man.
And sunshine.
You get bonus points if you remember who sings this.
Yes, because he's singing It Takes Two. Oh my gosh. Dang, I forgot his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Who was his name again?
Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock, baby.
Right. Oh my God, that's a classic, man.
Oh, it's the highlight of my week. Dr. Crane, you still got it?
I love it. Do I still to dance? Do I still got that song?
No, I'm going to see if Dr. Crane. There we go. One more time for us. Yeah, there we go. All right, Chris Sanders with us on the Chase and Big Joe show.
Oh my God, Chris, love it, man. That is the best.
All right. So when the Titans are signing a 1-year free agency, what do you want? What would you tell the guys coming in on a 1-year deal? Because obviously you're not getting a 4 or 5 year deal, but you got 1 year. Right. What do you tell them?
Right.
Come in, give me everything you got.
Yes, give me everything you got, but you got a chance. When I say you got a chance to not solidify yourself, but you can solidify yourself later on in the future. Because if you come in on a 1-year deal and you have a great season, you go to the Pro Bowl, you do All Pro and all those things, you're going to set yourself up, your family to have a good payday. And I know it's not about the payday. I understand that, but you still put yourself in position to sign a long-term deal. So if I'm on a 1-year deal, and I would love to do that on a 1-year deal, I get a chance to prove myself. I get to show my skill set. I get to show them that I belong in the NFL. So when they come in the 1-year deal, I said, hey, here's your chance to prove, not just to me, prove it to the general manager, prove it to the president, prove it to whoever in that organization that I'm your guy and sign me to a long-term deal. So I think it's a great opportunity for guys who sign a 1-year deal.
Do you think they've told Brandon Allen he's the backup?
I don't know what. First of all, I don't know what.
I hope so.
I mean, he's probably going to be the backup. I mean, they're not going to really sign him if he's not going to really be the backup, but they're still going to explore some things in free agency or also in the draft. But I think that the reason why they brought him in, and I'm just throwing this out there, and I'm not saying this is set in stone, but I think that the reason why they're going to put him in second is because I think they're going to draft Cam Ward. So now when you have Cam Ward come in or Shedeur Sanders, now there's no pressure to where that if he messes up, somebody's going to come in and take his position. So now if he goes out there and just lays the egg and he plays awful,
right,
now you have a chance to put your backup in. But then here's the deal: is if he comes in, Cam Ward comes in, there's no pressure. It's just
right.
You're a rookie, you're going to go, you ain't going to lose your job, and I think that's the reason why they brought him in.
Joe Rexrode had a good point this morning, and Chase and I, we kind of agreed on this. If you bring in Cam Ward, are you committed to Brian Callahan for a while? Because the last thing, Chris, you know this, you bring in Cam Ward and you go 3-14 and you fire Brian Callahan, we're back to where we are right now. So are you now committed to Callahan to see this through? I mean, it's a quandary here.
It is because, when you let, Brian Callahan go, now you got to get another offensive coordinator. I mean, if you look at the situation when Steve came in, we came in 1995, he had Jerry Rome, then you had Les Steckler, you had all these guys coming in. You had to learn the different terminologies of the offense and this and that. So if they do that, I think that you're going to mess up the quarterback. So I just think that, if he plays bad, you got to make sure you give Callahan a couple of more years, because if you start switching coaches and switching terminologies, now you're going to confuse and mess up the rookie. But if you keep one guy in position that learns the terminology, that learns the technique, that understands defense, and he keeps building on that, now you took a rookie quarterback and developing him into a great quarterback.
Chris, I want to go back to something that you were just talking about, that you're talking about the quarterbacks and that they're either going to draft Cam Ward, and then you mentioned Shedeur Sanders. I feel like his stock has dropped, that he's not getting the same talk, post combine about being a number one pick or number 2 pick or something like that. We were talking to somebody that's here listening to the show that was pro Shedeur and, made a really good case of why you would want to draft him, not only for his ability, but also, he's gonna put butts in seats. So why do you think that maybe teams have the shine's worn off of Shedeur a little bit?
Yeah. I think that, with Shedeur, so I think he's a great talent, and I think he's going to make some plays in the NFL. But you got to look at the situation with Tennessee Titans. I know it's about putting butts in seats, but right now it's about winning. And what quarterback gives you the best chance of winning? And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and people can get mad if they want to, but I'm going to go with Cam Ward. The reason why I'm going to go with Cam Ward as opposed to Shedeur is Cam Ward's a little bigger, and also his escapability is better than Shedeur Smith. When you talk about arm placement and throwing the ball into a spot and throwing it to the window to where only the wide receiver can catch the ball, I think Shedeur Sanders is better in that area. But in the area that is so profound, that the reason why I will pick Cam Ward is because when you're in the NFL, and we saw it in the Super Bowl, that if you don't have no escapability with the fast defensive end and the sexiness of the defenses that are going to blitz you, and you don't have no escapability, you're going to look really, really bad. I think Cam Ward brings a different element of escapability, and that's why I would pick him above Shedeur Sanders.
Okay, that is a fair point. Chris, thanks as always, my man. Enjoy the rest of spring break and St. Patty's weekend. We love you too, and we'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate you. Hey, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. He's out.
Absolutely. Chris Sanders, forever Titans wide receiver, joining us here on the program. We'll react to some of the things that he had to say. Again, we are live at the pub in the Gulch here all day today. It is St. Patrick's Day weekend. Also, of course, the SEC tournament going on at Bridgestone Arena, and our coverage presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV. It's Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Do you think they've told Brandon Allen he's the backup?
He's probably going to be the backup. I mean, they're not going to really sign him if he's not going to really be the backup, but they're still going to explore some things in free agency or also in the draft. But I think that the reason why they brought him in, and I'm just throwing this out there, and I'm not saying this is set in stone, but I think that the reason why they put him in, they're going to put him in second is because I think they're going to draft Cam Ward. So now when you have Cam Ward come in or Shadou Sanders, now there's no pressure to where that if he messes up, somebody's going to come in and take his position. So now, if he goes out there and just lays the egg and he plays awful,
right?
Now you have a chance to put your backup in. But then here's the deal: if he comes in, Cam Ward comes in, there's no pressure. It's just you're a rookie, you're going to go, you ain't going to lose your job, and I think that's the reason why they brought him in.
There's Chris Sanders on with us, Chasing Big Joe live at the pub in the Gulch. Here all day long. Come by and see us. We've got a nice crowd that's forming. Joe will be signing autographs coming up at 11:15.
And singing. Don't forget that
yes.
as well. I've got a couple of Irish ditties I'd like to get out there later on, and I'll be doing some U2 songs.
Wow, that'll be good.
I'm here all day.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to that.
Anything you want to hear? Danny Boy?
Danny Boy would be good.
What about Irish Eyes Are Smiling?
Dr. Crane forgot my request for this segment, too. So
yeah, I did.
Points against him.
Unfortunately.
You did.
Play it now.
Play it now because I can do what I wanted to do, and then we can move back into other things.
Oh, the anticipation.
Yeah, no, you're good. You dropped the ball. It's fine.
But
we still love you.
Yeah. I mean,
it's okay.
I
I do it all the time.
You do better. Yeah, but you can redeem yourself here in a second.
Yeah.
You got this.
So you heard Chris there. I mean, I really think everybody is shifting to Cam Ward. That's just kind of way that the stars are aligning and things are looking for the Titans, that they're ultimately going to take him number 1 overall. He's going to be the quarterback of the future.
He better be. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, there's so much pressure on this pick right now as your number 1 guy going forward and the guy that's going to lead you to the promised land. I mean, it's just goodness. All right,
hit it. 3 years ago today, we lost WWE Hall of Famer Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon. And I'm very sad about that because he's one of my all-time favorites. Hard to believe it's been 3 years.
How did he pass?
I think it was a heart attack.
Oh, let's say 56.
He was older than you.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, but I had to reference the bad guy, as he was known, and give props to Scott Hall.
Razor Ramon.
Did
he win any titles?
He was never a world champion, but he was an intercontinental champion quite a bit. And then in WCW formed the NWO with Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash.
Oh, okay. All right. So
yeah.
I know who you. Okay.
Yeah. He was the guy that he had the toothpick and would throw the toothpick. And
all right.
Like the hair down. He kind of his character Razor Ramon was supposed to be kind of like Scarface.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Tony Montana. And they did all these vignettes where he had the Cuban accent.
Did he ever tell you to say hello to his little friend?
I think he might have used that one.
I hope so.
But he'd be like, he'd do a survey, be like, I like to do a little survey.
Oh,
and
okay.
Do that, and then he would always start his promos with, "Hey yo."
Well, Kevin Nash, right, former Tennessee basketball player.
Yep, he was Diesel in WWE, WWF, and then Kevin Nash in WCW.
Is he 7 feet tall?
Yeah.
Jeez, he's
a big boy. But yeah, he did. He played at Tennessee. I can't remember if it was
Ernie and Bernie days, like late 70s.
Maybe. Sounds right. He was in the Army for a little bit too.
Right. Ernie and Bernie days.
I can tell you. 77 to 80.
So a little bit after Ernie and Bernie.
Yeah. He made it to the Sweet 16 with them.
Nice.
So there you go. A Vol. Following a physical altercation with head coach Don DeVoe and a series of other on-campus incidents, Nash did not play a 4th year for the Volunteers and attempted to transfer to Bowling Green State University in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Attempted?
Yeah, I guess he never did.
Didn't get it done?
He moved to Europe and played basketball professionally for various teams, and his career ended 1 year later in 1981.
And then he went right to – when did he start wrestling?
He went to the Army, and then he started wrestling in 1990.
So a late bloomer a little bit there. Okay.
Yeah.
Big
Yep.
dude.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
It's history. Yeah. Right. NWO. Hulk, man. Why don't you like Hulk Hogan?
A lot of reasons. I mean, I like Hulk Hogan. I've lost a lot of respect for him over the years. The more that it's kind of come out on him, you know, there's obviously the video where he's using a racial slur that I don't care for.
Yeah, right.
And then, you know, a lot of wrestlers have kind of said he didn't want to do right by the business. It was all about him.
But let me counter that.
Sure. And I know what you're going to say.
I don't think a lot of people would be into wrestling today if it weren't for him.
100%. So
Right.
there are two sides of it. And look, like if we ever got him on the show, I would love it. Like, I mean, it would be a huge interview, and you know, I'd be curious of how he views his legacy now.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean,
it's a good point. I think he views it not in a good. That's why I think he's doing these good, like these goodwill tours.
he's got the beer and all that stuff. And,
Yeah.
But I mean, he changed the business twice. He made it, you know, go from the territories to being a national thing, you know, with his run in the 80s with the WWF, and then changed it again in the 90s when he went heel and formed the NWO.
So obviously, you know a lot more about this than I do. I think in the wrestling hierarchy of things, I mean, is he number one? And I go by this as far as
Number one, how?
recognizability. Like if you saw Hulk walking by, I know you know Roman Reigns. I'd be like, that guy looks familiar. I would know Hulk Hogan when you walk, and I think the majority, like 90% of people, would know Hulk Hogan if you walk by. And The Rock.
I think he's been surpassed.
Okay,
by
all
The
right,
Rock.
fair.
I think The Rock. Would you know John Cena if John Cena walked by?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would say The Rock, Cena, Hogan, Flair, Macho Man before he died. I mean, those. Would you know The Undertaker?
Only in costume.
Would you know Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, there's a group, but Hogan and Flair were kind of the first of that. But I think The Rock, you know, the Rock's popularity is surpassed
Okay,
Hogan's.
I'd go with that.
I mean, The Rock's a billionaire. Like that's what's unbelievable about it.
Is he the first billionaire from McGavick High School?
He might be.
I think he's.
I want to check that actually.
I
If
think
he's
the only one. He's got to be. Although his last movies have not done very well at the box office.
according to Celebrity Net Worth, he's not quite there. He's 800 million.
but
he's
poor
close.
guy. Well, I hope he has a good day then to get over the top with all that. No, I just think to me, recognizability is something we're like, oh, okay. Like, oh, that's the wrestler guy. Oh, that's Hulk Hogan, all that goes on with it. So I think it works hand in hand with the sport because it gets you more eyes on the sport, whether you like him or not.
I just found an interesting list.
Yes. Oh, gosh. We love lists.
Top 10 richest wrestlers of all time.
Go.
So Vince McMahon is listed at 3.2 billion. The Rock at number 2, 800 million. Stephanie McMahon, 250 million. Her husband, Triple H, 250 million. John Cena, 80 million, which I would have thought that was higher.
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, 30 million, chilling on his ranch with his 2 solid ass cats.
Right.
Hulk Hogan, 25 million.
No.
He's lost a lot.
Wow.
Actually,
okay.
that's actually higher than I thought. Here's one that nobody would get. Stacy Keibler, 25 million. And that's probably all not wrestling.
Is that the Keebler Elves fortune?
No, she was dating George Clooney for a long time.
Stacy Keebler.
Oh yeah, I'll show you a picture. You'll know her. The Bella Twins, 20 million.
That's it?
Yeah. Chris Jericho, 18 million.
I thought that'd be. I know Reno Riggins is in the millions too, up there too. For all the words he come in on that list,
he owes millions.
I just thought there'd be. I don't know. That's eye opening. I thought the more would be up there. Like, where's Flair? Well, he's blown everything.
Blown. I mean,
Flair's
Flair's got
boy,
like
Jeff Jarrett.
Flair's got like 5 ex-wives that got most of that. I don't know. I don't know where Double J would be in.
Double J's in our heart, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Jericho.
That's
I mean,
clueless.
Jericho being in the top 10 is interesting to me. So
Well, good for them. Good for all of them making that.
you can check your phone, and there's a picture of Stacy Keebler.
Okay.
So thank you, Dr. Crane. Coming up next, it was an exciting game in the Conference USA tournament. The Blue Raiders fight on. They got the win last night. We'll talk to the voice of MTSU, Chip Walters, coming up next. Chasing Big Joe here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. We're out here at the pub in the Gulch as they have a lot going on. They got awesome food, Irish fare, of course, like corned beef and cabbage and Guinness stew. They got drink specials all day, $7 Jameson and Jameson orange shots, $9 Irish sinker shots, and $13 Lucky Green cocktail, all in honor of St. Patrick's Day. The SEC tournament's going on up the street at Bridgestone Arena, but down in Huntsville, Alabama, Conference USA tournament, and it was a thrilling one last night as the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State get the win over Louisiana Tech, 77-75, double overtime. You heard it on 93.3 Totally Hits, Totally Nashville, and the man on the call, Chip Walters, joins us now. Chip, did you get a nap?
Got a nap, and I just got through with my Joe Dubin pregame meal, which is 7 hard-boiled eggs and a half gallon of chocolate milk. So, ready to go.
So you'll have a pregame today at 1:30 on 93.3 FM, but a quick turnaround. What a game last night. I was telling Joe earlier that it was on ESPN Plus, so I turned that on, but then I synced it up with your call, so I got to listen to you guys on the Blue Raider Network. What a fun ending. I know it got a little frustrating at times because, as you said on your call, the Blue Raiders had to win that thing 3 or 4 times.
They did, and, you had Justin Buford had a 3-point shot that went in, and after, further review, apparently it was about a tenth of a second late out of his fingers. So that's what sent it to overtime. And I told JB, I guess if he trimmed his fingernails earlier that day, that, it might have been good. But then you had another play at the end of the first overtime where it appeared Middle had gotten a rebound and had been fouled, but there was a jump ball call. And when looking at the video of it, the Louisiana Tech player never touched the ball. Just had Chris Luke by his arms. And then at the end, Middle, got the shot to fall, and it was interesting last night because Esam Mustafa got in foul trouble early, didn't play a ton of minutes, which could pay off for Middle today, but also Daniel Bacho, who was the big kid for Louisiana Tech and Defensive Player of the Year in the league, he must have rolled an ankle or something, because he came out of the game and never played again. So 2 big guys who've been such a big part of the success of both of those teams, didn't have a ton to do with the outcome, although Esam did come in the overtimes and ended up with double figures, and I think ended up with like 18 minutes played total out of 50, and still contributed. But it was a total team win last night.
It definitely was, and as I was watching and listening, and you guys did a tremendous job, talking about the officiating and some of those calls in a professional way. But it does, like, when you see that sometimes, it is mind-boggling of like how they can miss some of those things with all the technology we have. And I know Coach McDevitt was having to be pulled back a couple of times because of some of the calls, but ultimately came through and overcame that.
Did, and and this is now the 8th time in 11 years that Middle has made the Conference USA semifinals, and 4 straight years, and picked up win number 22 last night, and you get to face Jacksonville State, who has the Player of the Year, Jerron Pierre, and Pierre has been Middle and Jacksonville State split this year. Middle won at home early by 17, and lost on the road by, I think, 15 or 16. So the 2 teams have split. Both have had the better of each other at different times during the year. But Pierre is a guy who Middle has had they had held him to 2 points in the first half in Murfreesboro, and he ended up with 20 in the second half, and he scored 36 in a game down in Jacksonville, Alabama. So he's been kind of a tough nut to crack as far as the scoring column. They've also got a big center who takes up a lot of room. So, now you've got to play on adrenaline today. They're finishing up their scout for today right now, doing a walkthrough in the hotel ballroom with a court taped down on the carpet, and then they'll be leaving here in about an hour and a half to head to the arena.
Chip Walters is with us. You can hear Chip calling the game today on 93.3. What time is the game, Chip?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Chip.
2 o'clock. 1:33 game, and in fact, I'm about to head to the arena about the time we hang up to go ahead and get set up for today.
Well, we're going to keep you on the phone for another hour, so you can't head over there just
You
yet.
do that.
Chip,
You go right ahead. It will be the
Chip,
first time I've hung up on you, Joe.
you're exactly right. You know, it's funny you talk about, last night I'm thinking, oh, man, it's a double overtime game. They got to play today. But we keep forgetting these guys are 20, 21, 19 years old. I mean, they live for this. So we talk about them being tired. That, to me, that doesn't enter their mind because we talk to these guys. They're like, man, another opportunity, another chance today to move on and win another game. I like the mindset that I hear from the guys going forward. So I just hope, man, they can get it done again today.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's all of us old guys who talk about having to play 3 games in a span of 50 hours if you're going to win this, the way that the draw was for Middle. But, the guys, they got back to the hotel a little before midnight last night, had a little something to eat. They got them in bed at 12:30 or a little after that, and they were back in at 9:15 this morning to go through the scout. The assistant coaches were up. I know they were up working on the game plan till about 4 a.m. until they, got a little nap and got ready. And again, right now they're trying to get that installed and get it soaked in by the players.
Well, and that you talk about, the prep time. They've played Jacksonville State twice this year. Like you said, they're 1-1. But at some points, with this, the preparation, the lack of preparation, Chip, you just got to go out and play basketball. Go out and play your game and hopefully get it done that way. I know there's not a lot of time to sit around and think, oh, we got to do this and do that. But at some point, just go out and play, right?
You got to go defend and rebound and shoot the basketball and Coach McDevitt, yesterday on our pregame show, he talked about stealing a line from Pat Riley. He goes, no rebounds, no rings, and that's one thing they had to do last night. They got 44 rebounds in the game against Louisiana Tech last night, and they're going to have to do that again today because Jacksonville State is a team that really relies on offensive rebounding and getting second shots. So rebounds and defense can travel, and as far as when it comes to scoring points, you just go out there and you hoop at this time of year, like you said.
Yeah. Who's on the other side of the bracket, Chip?
You got Liberty and Kennesaw State. Kennesaw has the 2 great guards, and Liberty ended up winning the regular season championship. So that'll be at 11:30 today, and then Middle at 2 o'clock. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, the Lady Raiders take on Western Kentucky in the semifinals of the women's draw. So they're looking to repeat their championship from a year ago. And it doesn't take long to get focused on your arch rival, Western Kentucky.
No, it does not. Well, Chip, we'll be listening. We'll be watching and pulling for both the men's and women's team to keep advancing and listening to your call as well. Thanks so much for doing this today, and have a good call.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Absolutely. Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us here on the Chasing Big Joe show. And again, Middle Tennessee State will take on Jacksonville State coming up today. 1:30 pregame, 2 o'clock tip on 93.3 FM, Totally Hits, Totally Nashville, 95.1 Totally Hits, Totally Murfreesboro, where you can listen to the Blue Raiders. Again, we are live today at the pub in the Gulch. Come by and say hello. Why wait for St. Patrick's Day? The party starts early at the pub in Nashville. It's going on right now. You can enjoy proper shenanigans all weekend long with Irish fare, drink specials, and live entertainment, including Irish step dancers, bagpipes, and more. Don't miss all of the fun. Come by and see us. And also the SEC tournament, of course, is going on just down the street at Bridgestone Arena. And all of our SEC tournament coverage is presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Guinness, thenewcumberland.com, Volunteer Hose and Gasket, and Sloan's Motorcycle ATV. We will come back, tell you what day it is, and also celebrity birthdays here on Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Nothing too good for Razor Ramon. Good food, good drink, good chicas. What is this, man?
It's the bill, Senor Razor.
You got a bill for me, man? You know who I am, man? I am Razor Ramon. People find out I eating this restaurant, they line up down the street, Chico. Get out of here, man. What's next?
Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Scott Hall. Very well done, Dr. Crane. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3. The Game on this Friday. It is St. Patrick's weekend, and we're celebrating in East Nashville. Come out and join 102.5 The Game and 5 Points at Boston Commons. Adam Vengan will be there for the official Nashville St. Patrick's Day Parade presented by Aer Lingus, kicking off at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Live Irish music, drink specials, and family fun all day long. And 102.5 The Game will be on site from 9 to 11 with swag to give away and sign up for a chance to win concert tickets. We are at the pub here in the Gulch. So come by and see us. DVD in the On Deck Circle. You can see them as well, and then Stillman and Company. But right now, it's time for What Day Is It? And Celebrity Birthdays. It's brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. Electrical services, electrical installations, electrical inspections, upgrades, and replacements. Visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have Celebrate Scientist Day. So Albert Einstein, one of them. Let's see, crowdfunding day. I'm just saying.
I was unsure what he did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Crowdfunding day is today. That's something with money. Genius Day. International Ask a Question Day. That's typically on the show for the most part.
We ask a lot of those.
Yeah, indeed we do. Learn about Butterflies Day. Legal Assistance Day. This is a hyphenated word, but it's Moth Day. You know, moth. They celebrate moths on this type of day. I don't know why, but
why is it hyphenated?
Because it's a moth, and then they add the ER at the end, so it's like it's spelled mother, but it's Moth Day. Never.
Okay.
Continuing.
That's weird.
National Children's Craft Day. That's me every day. National Potato Chip Day. National Preschoolers Day. This is a good one. National Reuben Sandwich Day. Let me a good Reuben sandwich.
Yeah. Love the Reuben.
Yes.
National Save a Spider Day. No thanks. National Write Your Story Day. Today is National Pie Day. The math little
It
symbol.
is. Yeah, it is Pie Day.
It is Pie Day.
Yep. Science Education Day. White Day and World Sleep Day.
Pi Day 3.14. Nice. Well,
I wonder if Adam probably could name multiple digits of pi. No, he says no.
I'll tell you right now, though, you shouldn't give away your pie for free. All right, time for celebrity birthdays here on the Chasing Big Joe show. Are we ready? All right, your first birthday. By the way, you got to get these. You got to get these within 2 years. Our first birthday, Vanderbilt legend, Nashville legend, Clyde Lee. How old is Clyde Lee?
Oh, man. 78.
82.
81. Good job,
Nice.
Dr. Crane. Grandmama, Larry Johnson. How old is the former Charlotte Hornet?
62.
68.
Grandmama is 56.
Okay.
Former Heisman Trophy winner of Wisconsin, Ron Dane. Today's his birthday. How old is Ron Dane?
57.
40.
47. God, you guys are terrible already.
Thanks. Appreciate your encouragement.
Yeah, right.
Always nice.
Steph
Knocking
Curry.
stuff over. You just
Right.
Thanks.
Steph Curry. How old is Steph Curry today?
38.
36.
37. That's a push.
Dang.
Simone Biles, the great gymnast.
33.
31.
28.
Yeah, okay.
The great actor Michael Caine, today's his birthday, who's been in probably a little over 6,000 movies.
Yeah, and I think his age might be misleading too. 74.
70.
92.
Are you serious?
I am Joe. Billy Crystal. How old's Billy Crystal?
67.
65.
77. She played Hank's wife on Breaking Bad, Betsy Brandt.
64.
60.
52.
We suck today.
Country single Michael Martin Murphy, who evidently is still alive, thank goodness.
91.
88.
80. Steve Canale was Jock Ewing on Dallas. Remember, he became, they found out later on that he was not Jock Ewing. He was one of the Ewings that came out later on. That was one of the brothers. But it wasn't the initial, like, three.
Okay.
He was a ranch hand on Dallas.
Thank you for clearing that up. 63.
58.
79. This is 1-0,
This is
Dr.
terrible.
Crane.
This is terrible.
Adrian Zemed was in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. He was also in T.J. Hooker. Adrian Zemed.
70.
82.
71, tied at 1. Sugarland lead singer Kristen Bush. He's a guitar player, not the other girl, but he's a guy. But
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah. Thanks. 55.
48.
55, dead on. Chase up 3-1. We got 3 left. He was an American Pie, Chris, which is because it's Pie Day.
Yeah.
Chris Klein, the actor Chris Klein.
43.
47.
48. It's 3-2. Chase. We got 2 left. Rick Dees, the great radio guy. He did Disco Duck back in the day, but Rick Dees.
Dees what?
How old is Rick Dees?
65.
69.
Nice.
74. All right, so we are final birthday. Chase up 3-2. Happy birthday today. Oh, my goodness. Happy birthday today to Prince Albert. How old is Prince Albert of Monaco?
74.
Oh, my gosh.
77.
Oh, at the buzzer, Dr. Crane misses. He is 67 years old. Chase wins 3-2. Happy birthday, Prince Albert.
Oh, boy. Happy birthday, indeed.
It's fun doing the show with you.
Yeah, it's been fun. That's going to do it for us. Again, we're at the pub today in the Gulch. There are a ton of people out here. Come by and see us. DVD going to be here right now on the way out. Caller number 3 at 615-737-1025 will win a pair of tickets to the St. Patty's Party at Cannery Hall Sunday, March 16th. Plus, you're qualified for an upgrade to VIP tickets. Celebrating 30 years as Nashville and Belfast being sister cities. They'll have Irish food, Irish whiskey tasting, Irish music, Irish dancers, cooking demonstrations, and much more. 615-737-1025.
Oh, that sounds good. Hey, as we leave the show every day, we tell you guys, and we appreciate people reaching out to us. If you're going through some things, always you could text or call 988 on your cell phone. Somebody's always there to talk to you, always there to help you out what's going on. Please, we implore you all the time. If you're going through anything, please talk to someone. Look, we got some bad storms coming through this weekend. It's kind of metaphor through life. You know, you get some bad storms happening, but there's people that are going to support you. And those storms clear out for sunshine and beautiful days. That's what lays ahead. And know that we need you here in our lives. We need you here. Remember, we love you. And more importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up next live from the pub in the Gulch. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.